bless us, Lord, each member of this board, Lord, the decisions that we are made, that is being made daily or monthly, Lord, that it would be pleasing to you. But Father, most of all, we just thank you for your love and your grace that you have given us, Lord, and we just thank you for being our Savior. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll start the meeting. We have a small agenda here. From my understanding, we don't have any concerned citizens.
That is correct.
So the first scheduled business item would be the public hearing. This public hearing is for the creation of the proposed fire district, which we're trying to create a fire district 5 miles from, kind of a horseshoe effect around Canton, and which we've had people in that area with no fire protection. And it is our belief here on this board, and has been for some time, that we're trying to create fire protection for everybody in Madison County at some point in time. It may take a lot longer than we like, but to continue to stack one fire department on top of another until we can get to where we've got every home in Madison County at least in some protected rating and not in town class 10, which when I first got on this board, the majority of Madison County was in town class 10. We're gradually getting away from that, and that is something that we up here are working hard to do. We've had, I remember when we started the Gary, the district in Gluckstadt, and a lot of town class 10 down there. And now we've got a active South Madison County district that works well for the citizens that live in it. I, of course, am one that live in it, and I appreciate it. We're trying to do the same thing up here in this area and moving farther north, east, and northwest. So with saying all that, we're going to start the public hearing, and we would like to keep everybody, we don't have to spend a lot of time talking, so two minutes should be time enough for a person to get to say what they need to say. Okay, can I get a motion to move into?
Got a motion to open up public hearing?
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We're now in the public hearing. Who's the first person? You got a list over there, Shelton?
I do. Do you want general comments about the district first, or do you want to go to these people?
I think what we need to do is we got maps, and we need to have the general comments. We need to let people know what district we're talking about and who's in the district.
Okay, Mr. President.
Yeah, Ronnie, keep that.
Mr. President.
After the presentation of the district.
Yeah.
He may take them a little longer, too.
I was going to try to talk fast.
Yeah.
Mr. President, Supervisors, you may recall that there's been much discussion about providing committed fire protection to this district over the past several years. And back at the 1st of June, we began advertising for this public hearing to create a fire district that in essence creates a horseshoe around the city of Canton and joins up with the city of Canton and South Madison Fire District on either side of the southern borders of Canton. And I have a map of this. The legal description was published beginning on the 10th of this month, published 3 times, and here we are for the hearing to conclude this. To generate this district, what we did is we went to the fire stations available in the area, and we went, we followed 5 road miles from those stations. And if a section of land, if that 5 road miles ended in a section of land, we included that section and all sections between that point and the fire station in this district. Now, with any plan like this, there's always the potential that there was an error made, so we have continued to review this, and there are 2 sections in the original description that need to be removed. Mr. Talbert, will you step forward and tell me which sections those are?
Hello, gentlemen. The section that's need to be.
Introduce yourself.
Huh?
Introduce yourself.
Oh, myself. I'm Richard Talbert. I'm the elected county surveyor.
Thank you.
Y'all don't see me very often. My office is not a boardroom. My office is the woods.
You're right.
And I prefer it that way. The sections that need to be removed would be Section 30, Township 10 North, Range 2 East, and Section 36, Township 9 North, Range 3 East.
And the first one he identified was just included in error. It was a disjointed section up in the, to the northwest of the city. It's not even on this map because it was just a scrivener's error. And then the second corner is down here in the southeast, where there was a section that was also included in error because it's in excess of 5 miles from a station. Okay? So with those 2 corrections, we have a legal description to present to you for a potential fire district. Of course, you know the process for creating a fire district. There's appointment of 5 commissioners to operate that fire district. We already have 6 fire districts across the county. So that's a general comment about the purpose of our hearing today. Any questions or comments from the board?
I do. Mr. President, I have a couple questions for Shelton. The property that we're discussing at this point that you laid out here, the map that you've given us, are they any overlap of any fire districts that you know of?
There is absolutely no intention of an overlap. And again, Mr. Talbert, the county surveyor, has looked at this, and we do not believe that there is any overlap in the description. If so, I believe that the board would intend to remove that overlap, but he has looked at it even as late as this morning and does not find an overlap in the districts.
All right. Who is servicing this area now?
City of Canton would be the primary responding agency for this area.
Okay. So when we started this, looking at this district, we were going to try to get the districts, we was going to try to get as much property included in the district as possible. And I see on this map, I guess it may be with Farm Haven, there's still some open property between the district that we're looking to create compared to Farm Haven. Is that because of the 5 miles?
It is because of the 5 miles, but if you look, I handed this out without defining. There is a dark red line border, okay? The dark red line border you will see comes very close to the Farm Haven district, but there is a small buffer in between the two, okay? But from the perspective of the new fire district, we have gone as far as 5 road miles will take us. So you've got this olive green section, and the olive green is strictly for reference. The olive green is a fire grading district that was considered some 10 years ago. But if you look just past this olive green to the right, there are dark red lines that represent the new district that is the 5 mile distance from an existing fire station.
Okay, so we should go by the dark.
The dark red, that's correct.
And but I still see some property that is left out.
There is, and I believe, and I need to look to Minor Norman for this answer. I believe that property is within 5 miles of the new Farm Haven station, And I believe that Farm Haven has been talking to their supervisor about annexing that area to include it in the Farm Haven district because it is within, because it's my understanding it is within 5 miles of their newest station.
So there should be an option for us to close that gap to zero at some point.
Yeah.
Yes, Farm Haven is looking at expanding to the west, and they will take in that area.
Okay, so that's good, that's good. Also, Shelton, on the district or the, what the city of Canton is currently taking care of outside of the city for us, are there any of this area that's left out, or did you expand on the, what's that, would be the west side of the area, or did you have to come back in because of the 5 miles as far as the lines?
I would, first, let me ask the chief how far out he is responding right now.
Okay.
Because I believe that this territory expands one land section to the east on Highway 16. In other words, it expands one land section past Sharon Road, and I believe Sharon Road is your limit right now. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Okay. So on the east side of town going out on Highway 16, you would run about a mile past Sharon Road. To the north of the town up toward the Interstate 55 interchange, all you are doing is moving to the section lines, and I suspect that Canton Fire is I know Canton Fire is already responding to that entire section, and the same out to the west. We're bringing in full sections, and that's for ease of identifying the district, and the section is still within the 5 road miles. So there is a small area, two sections to the west, 2 land sections to the east, and 3 or 4 half land sections to the north that are being included that were not in the grading district definition from 10 years ago.
Okay, and this area does include Nissan?
This area, yes, this area does include the Nissan property, that the main plant for Nissan.
Yeah, which the city of Canton is responding to now.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Could you talk with us as far as this district that you have here on this map today that you've given out to us, as far as the financial end of it, as far as what will it calculate and come to?
Okay, I obtained information from the tax assessor's office, and of course, remember, there has been an annexation approved since this time, expansion of the city of Canton. We have attempted to adjust these numbers for that annexation, and I have also excluded all of those landowners with 160 acres or more of property in the number that I'm about to give you. Taxable property in this district should generate $11,500 per mill. Mm-hmm. Discussion has been that the potential would be for this district to have 8 mills, which would be right at between $92,000 and $95,000 a year for those properties that are less than 160 acres and exclusive of Nissan. Okay? If you add Nissan to the mix, you're talking about $157,000 for Nissan. There's about $1,300 from 160 acre landowners that have committed to pay. And that will generate right at $250,000 using 8 mills, right at $250,000 based on my estimate.
So it's 92 to 95,000 without Nissan.
Yes, sir.
And so if Nissan's, and I understand that someone is talking with Nissan now.
Yes, sir.
As far as asking and see if they would participate in this fire district, which they are currently receiving from the city of Canton free of charge.
They are receiving, and they are not paying a specific fire protection millage for support of a fire department.
But if they did come in, that's that's 157,000 on top of the 92 to 95,000
That is the estimate that I have for you, yes, sir.
district. Now, the other question is the mega site. At this point, are there any monies that would be coming from the mega site, which is approximately 900 acres?
The two owners of the mega site, the property that Makita has identified as a mega site is, number one, Madison County Economic Development Authority. There is no tax revenue being generated from those lands right now. The other is approximately 150 acres that's still in the name of the Walker family. I do not have the exact amount, but my understanding is that's taxed for agricultural value, which would be a minimal amount of tax on that property.
The 150 acres that you just referred to,
Yes, sir.
we do not own that at this point.
No, sir.
But Makita is considering purchasing that.
That is my understanding.
Okay. So at this point, the mega site taxes is zero.
Correct.
When Amazon comes in, what would the taxes be? The fire taxes only,
If you went to 8 mills, I'm expecting
Yes.
that to be about $300,000.
about 300K. And that's just on Amazon only.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr.
Okay.
President, Mr. President, I
Go
got
ahead.
one question for the surveyor. The sections that need to be removed, was one of them where the district overlaps with Panther Creek and Gluckstadt?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay, all right, that's all I needed. I was getting texts and calls about that, I was worried over there. in that
No, I think it's been misread.
area.
There, some people think there's an overlap, but in sections 31 and 32, we're north of the highway.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Go ahead.
I just want to add a little to what your opening statement was. Like we've been working on this for the last 20 years to get fire protection all over the county. And this yellow area, what we are proposing, you kind of indicated that they hadn't been getting fire protection. They have been getting fire protection for the last 10 years or more, but they were getting free, basically, fire protection. It now is coming to the time where we're trying to get fire protection all over the county, and we're looking for everyone to pay their portion. So that's where we at today, where you've been getting it free. We're looking to put the meals on you to start paying for it. You've been getting it all the time, good fire protection, but now it's time to pay.
Yeah, I agree with you, Paul. You know, and I guess I misstated that because I know the city of Canton's fire department has been, heck, when I lived in a portion of this new area, and they came to my house a couple of times for a grass fire. So you get the Canton is responding. The problem is, and what I look at, I'm looking at insurance premiums, and I think that some of the people that live in that area are not getting any kind of treatment for their insurance policies, so they're paying as an unprotected rate.
Right, yeah.
And with us putting together this fire district, they will start seeing their insurance premiums going down. And I like to try to do something where as we did in the southern part of the county, in Gluckstadt district, when we put the mills on and were able to bring in paid staff, the increase in taxes was less than the savings in insurance premium.
Yeah.
So that was in the net effect, it lowered costs to our constituents. Hopefully we can create this in the near future here in this district, with the opportunities that they may have and see an increased taxation, they'll see an opportunity to start bringing in paid staff in this new district, hopefully. That's the plan. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the only thing that I really have left is to present you with a copy of the new legal district that the surveyor has taken out those two sections that we talked about, and make sure the clerk has a copy.
Okay. All right.
Okay, any other questions you have for me?
Anybody else have any other questions, Sheila? Okay.
First person signed up is Eddie Price.
Okay. Mr. Price, could you come forward? Give us your address.
Mr. President, how long we gonna give each one of them?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Most people won't need 2 minutes.
Timekeeper.
Yeah. Mr. Price,
Lonnie,
Hey, Mr. Black.
2 minutes.
how you doing?
Just fine. How you doing?
I'm doing
Eddie,
good, Eddie.
my name is Eddie Price. I live at 516 Yandell Road, and I'm chairman of the Board of Commissioners of the South Madison County Fire District. And our interest, like you said, we are interested in getting fire protection to all over the county. We have a big responsibility over South Madison with all the influx of new people coming in. So we're just willing to do what we can to help our district and our county in this fire protection district.
Well, we appreciate that. And thanks for showing the interest in it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. President, next on the list is Brenda Fuselier.
Okay.
So, basically, I'm here just to kind of follow what Mr. Eddy said. We are definitely interested in the mega site, and we just want to make sure that we can help any way that you need us to.
Appreciate that. Thanks for the support.
Mr. President, next is Henry Fuselier.
I'll waive any comment at this point.
Okay. All right.
Next signed up is Kerry Miniger.
Good morning. Kerry Miniger, 168 Miniger Boulevard in Gluckstadt. I am in the South Madison Fire District, and the initial map, and is, from what I understand, and that may have been corrected, I did have a concern. There seemed to be some overlapping areas between the new district and the Gluckstadt district, and I was concerned about that. Also, I don't know if it was considered 5 road miles from the Gluckstadt fire stations, the area that they may be able to cover into the proposed new district. Gluckstadt has a Class 5 rating, so if they covered those areas, then the people in that area would get a Class 5 rating instead of a protected 10 or whatever the rating bureau sets for the new district. So that was the comments I had.
That's a good comment. Thanks for letting us know.
Mr. President, next is John Scanlon.
Mr. Chairman, can I have one moment to talk to the surveyor?
Yes, you may.
Who's after Scanlon?
See anybody else?
Who's at the scan?
There is no one else on the
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Mr. President, I would like to ask I think the fire chief from Canton, this couple of questions, if he could come up.
Yes, sir. Kenneth Pierce, Ken Fire. Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. President. This couple of questions. What rating is the Canton fire rating?
Class 6 fire rating.
Class 6.
Yes, sir.
Has it been a 7 and gone down to 6?
No, it was a 5 and went down to 6 in about 10 years ago because of manpower, but now we have the manpower. We're just waiting on the rating bureau to come back and grade us.
Okay, say it was a 5 and went up to a 6?
Yes, back before I became fire chief,
So it's
And-
6 now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the 1 mile that's added on to this proposed district that you heard earlier, I think on the east side, is that would that be a problem to respond to?
He's talking about past Sheridan
No, sir, we already respond in that area sometimes anyway, so that's not a problem at all because we go past this anyway. Anytime the volunteer's not able to go, we always go anyway.
Okay, so it wouldn't be an issue,
No, sir.
and y'all are class 6 at this
Yes, sir.
point. Okay, thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay.
And
Counselor?
The counselor? John Scanlon?
Start that time, Rodney.
That's fair enough. I don't think I'm going to be long. I just wanted to say thank you all for giving me a moment today. Although now that Mr. Eddie and Ms. Brenda have stood up, I don't know that there's a lot I can add. Obviously, I represent the South Madison County Fire Protection District. Our input, as we understood it, was invited with regards just to the Amazon mega site. We submitted a letter signed by Mr. Price. I would ask that be made a copy of that available to you if you haven't seen it, and appended to the minutes. With regard to the concern about the overlap, I did talk to the surveyor, and I understand where that confusion may lie. It sounds like it's been addressed. Although I think the chief is telling me, and he's here to correct me if I say this wrong, that the South Madison County Fire Protection District may already serve sections 36, 31, and 32. Is that right? Is that within the response area? Is that what you're telling me, Chief? And of course, he can talk about where they respond to better than I can. So that's not really an overlap necessarily, but he's saying that is within their response area. So just to bring that to the attention of the board. And I don't know if the board would be interested in it, but the chief has also provided some operating procedures and guidelines that the South Madison County Fire Protection District uses when they respond to things. So I don't have a lot to add other than just I appreciate the invitation to submit a letter in writing on behalf of my client or to help Mr. Price do so with regard to the mega site. If y'all have any questions, I'm here, the chief's here, and other than that, thank you for your time and for your consideration.
Well, thank you very much, Attorney Scanlon.
I got a question, Carrie, or where's 36, 31, and 32?
This is probably not the same map y'all are looking at, but kind of southwest corner there, it's Highway 22 sort of bisects those three sections. And I think you had asked a question earlier, Mr. Baker, about, Mr. Baxter, about Panther Creek. There is no conflict with the city of Gluckstadt. I don't know if that's what your question was, Mr. Baxter, because the city of Gluckstadt doesn't reach up there. Yeah. But the Gluckstadt Fire Department, the map I have, and I'd be happy to give you all a copy of it, it's made by our own consultant, it's not by your surveyor or anything, shows that the boundaries of the Gluckstadt Fire Protection District overlap there. I think that's not true, but what it does show is that these three sections by section number, and those are the ones that the chief says they respond to right now.
Have y'all seen this map? Yeah.
Mr. President, could we get, Shelton, you have a copy of the letter that,
I do.
John, I know you sent it out to
Right.
supervisors last week with some options as well. Do you mind sharing that letter? Thank you.
Mr. President, can I say one thing about what Mr. Scanlon just said?
Yeah.
I do not disagree about what he's saying about those parcels. If the board wishes to remove those parcels from the description, by all means, we can do that. Each fire district, including 2 municipal fire departments in the county, operate under a fire services contract with us, and they serve areas that are outside of their district. That area that we call a response area, not their district area, that response area changes from time to time based on need. So I do agree that it's that those sections were in the response area for South Madison, but if this district is approved as is, that just comes out of their contract and out of their response area. Or you can leave it out of the district, whichever you choose.
Shelton, with this letter, just kind of want to clarify this letter. Of course, you know, we read it when you sent it out as well. Is this letter saying that South Madison County or Gluckstadt can service across Highway 22 to the, and I'm specifically asking about the mega site now.
I read this letter to say that. I would defer, though, to their representative that's here to interpret their letter that they've provided to you.
I would really like to hear from the county perspective as far as the service. Or have y'all seen the letter from Gluckstadt Fire? Okay. Yeah, talking to either you or Mac, either one. Have y'all looked at this, and basically what they're saying here is that they can actually service the mega site, the 900 acres, and basically possibly 1,000 acres now, with the other 150 possibly being purchased or considered being purchased. As far as service from Gluckstadt to the mega site, have y'all looked at that and see if it's within the guidelines?
Yeah, they could cover it. We'd have to build a station closer for them, or I'm not.
Well, I'm talking about just the way it sits today.
Yes, sir.
Just the way it sits today and what we're discussing today, without a building, a fire station.
Yes, sir. They could respond. Their response time would be longer from the current stations they have, would be a longer response time from Canton right now, because Canton has a station just over 1 mile from that mega site.
But my question, though, is that, and this is information that I need to know, because I think I've heard Shelton mention 5 miles 2 or 3 times, and that's what we're basing this district off of, is 5 miles.
Yes, sir.
So I guess what I'm asking is, can South Madison County service the mega site within a 5-mile radius?
No, sir. They couldn't. From their closest station, which would be Station 2, to cover the site would be over, the entire site would be over 5 miles.
Okay. Okay, thank you. John, on this letter. Yes, sir. That you sent to the board of supervisors, are you saying that y'all can service it without a new fire district, or are you saying that we need a new fire station, not district, but a new fire station?
Yes, sir, and I appreciate the question. My understanding of what we were looking at that time was what it would take to serve it immediately and also in the future. And I talked to the Board of Commissioners in a meeting, and obviously the fire chief about his staff, and we put this letter together to say that they believe they can serve it right now without any additional need for anything. But as it moves forward, of course, there was the purchase of the fire truck that the Board of Supervisors made, which was central to that discussion. So, you know, they can provide their own staffing needs if they were to have access to that truck in the future. And I believe that Chief Davis talked to the Fire Rating Bureau, obviously on an informal basis. It's not a formal rating or anything like that, to ask if there would be any kind of adverse effect on the fire district's current Class 5. And it's my understanding, I think it was Mr. Wyndham from the Rating Bureau told him that it would not adversely affect it because of what the mega sites plans are going to be for some of their own internal first response. And so that's, of course, they haven't graded us or anything, you know, that was just a phone call, but we were looking into that to see if it would have an adverse. We want to make sure that we don't endanger the classification we have for the current citizens and property owners we do serve.
All right, and that brings up another question as far as the rating for that, for the district that's being proposed. What kind of rating would it be? And John, that's not for you.
Yes, sir, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I
We're
understand.
just here about the mega site part. We certainly don't object to the creation of
Right.
the district or anything like that.
Correct. Who would,
Mr. Steen, Mr. President, Supervisors, I don't want to surprise anybody, but we have invited the Fire Rating Bureau. Ty Wyndham, director of that bureau, is actually here listening today. He's the only one that would be able to give that information, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
that he has enough information to provide that. But I think one thing that I heard from him in a prior discussion is that if
bring him up here. I have another question that he will be able to answer. He'll be able to answer this question, Mr. President.
Okay. I'd like to hear from him myself.
Ty Wyndham with the Mississippi State Rating Bureau. Okay.
Talking about the ratings.
Yes, sir.
You've heard City of Canton is a 6 currently,
That is correct.
and they are working to come to a Class 5.
That is right. I think they're due to be surveyed this year, I believe.
Yeah, they're working in that
We're coming
direction.
soon. You're right.
Gluckstadt is a 5
Correct.
rated. So with this, with the new district, tell me how those two ratings would come into play with this district if it was a Class 6 and a Class 5, or both Class 5.
Okay. The district is going to be totally separate from City of Canton. I mean, because we look at the water supply, what you're protecting out there. What they going to send? Are they going to send 2 trucks, 1 truck, or what, manpower? So the district most likely will have a separate grading from the city. I mean, it may hit the 6, it may be a 7, maybe an 8. Depends on the water flow out there. We're going to spot check some hydrants, the number of fire hydrants in the area. So there's a lot of factors that we look at district and city, so it's a chance most of them grade different than what the municipalities do. So this Canton district, it possibly could grade a 7, 8, I don't know. It just depends on what's out there.
Does it really matter then what class rating a city is when we start looking at that district then?
No, it does not.
Oh, it's
That's
just gonna
just
stand
totally
on its
separate,
own?
stand on its own.
Like all the other districts do
That is
as well?
correct.
Okay. But it doesn't matter, I guess it matters with service, definitely.
Right. Canton's already going out anyway. So out's out to us. If you're going out 25% of your calls is outside your city, you're getting penalized. So they were before, but now the city has annexed, so it may reduce that number of calls.
Right.
But they're still going out in this district to cover it. So you might as well draw district lines and get some type of rating to help people's insurance out in this area. But it's going to be totally separate grading from the city.
Are you familiar with the term we use, mega site, the property where the mega site is?
Yes.
Okay, today it's approximately 900 acres.
Okay.
It may end up being 1,000, 1,050. We currently have one business that's going to open up with is Amazon, within the next 2 or 3 months. Hopefully there'll be 4 or 5 other businesses out there within the next 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
How do you see that affecting the fire rating, or what would you say that we actually need to be able to offer Class 5 rating protection?
Is this going to be a separate fire district?
Well,
Or,
it just depends on what your answer is.
okay,
That's the reason I'm asking these questions is to,
okay.
there's no problem. Yeah, I would like for it to be considered separate.
Okay.
But I haven't heard from you to say what I think I've heard in the past.
Sure.
That said, hey, this is what Ty said. But I wanted to
Okay.
hear from you exactly, just confirm what I've heard in the
Okay.
past. week.
Well, if you're going to make this a separate district, obviously it's going to be smaller.
Right, it'll be
As
around 1,000
opposed,
acres.
so in this smaller area, you got a fire code that should make all these buildings sprinklered. And you should have enough water lines and fire hydrants out there to supply the sprinkler system and all that. So the fire load in this area could be really low, which would cause, you don't need as much water, fire pumps on the trucks and all that. So possibly this little area could grade better. And I think it's about a mile and a half from your station. Is that correct?
Throw out a graded number when you say possibly. Is it a 7, 3, 2, 8?
That's,
I didn't learn how to count that way, by the way, but
it's hard to say.
could it be
There's
a
nothing
5?
out there.
Could it be a 5?
I would say so, yes.
Could it be less than a 5?
It could be.
Okay, that's
It's a
really-
possibility,
yeah.
yes. I'd say so.
Okay, just because of the equipment, the new buildings and what's going to be required.
That is correct, and they should have enough water, hydrants, and it's a smaller district, as opposed to a 5 road mile where your hydrants may be spaced out further apart. And out in the rural areas, they may not have the, enough water pressure. I don't know. It just depends on several factors. That's the reason we go out there and ride and look
Yeah,
and survey
right.
and check hydrants and all that. And we would do the same if you want to do this mega site, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let me ask you a question about that. If an individual was trying to create fire protection for a number of people, and you have 1,000 acres, and in that 1,000 acres you've got the buildings are sprinkled, I mean, plenty of water, all that. Wouldn't it be wise to not do a 1,000-acre district when you have all these people, tax-paying people, voting people sitting out here, that particular portion of their district won't hurt them. It helps them. It's their particular portion that we got to be working on trying to get more water pressure. And when we start building stations, putting the station closer to them, same as we want to put a station closer to the industrial portion so that we can have shorter and quicker response times, more water pressure. And to do that, we just heard numbers on taxation. And of course, that 1,000 acres is going to create a lot of tax dollars for fire protection and for other uses to create the water pressure and everything else. So it would be kind of crazy to strip that away from these homes that are only going to create what they're creating right now. It's going to be very limited growth, very limited taxation, no hardly any money. So they don't even have a chance to get to a 5. We're trying to give them a chance to get to a 5. So, and I guess my question was kind of long, but good one. What do you think?
Once we get this, the air, we got to start somewhere. Come out and let us look at the district, see what it grades. Once we know what it grades, then we can make improvements. If you want to go lower, this is what you got to do. Right. So, we'll do that. That's
Exactly.
So we'll work with the fire service, the board, or whatever to try to lower it. All of them, either district, 1 district, 2 districts, Gluckstadt, or whatever. It doesn't matter. But if you want to go lower, at least we get a grade, then we can figure out what you got to do to improve it.
What you have to do next.
Yes.
And that's what this board is here to assist these fire districts do. Get lower, get better.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody else have any questions of the rating bureau person? Thank you.
Ty.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate
Thank you, Attorney. At this time, I think we've heard from everybody that we need to hear from. And I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead with the fire district. And there were some options set out, one that I recall.
Close the public hearing?
I need a motion to close the public hearing. Thank you. Is all in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like to make the motion to create the fire district, and in creating that fire district, I wanted to create it as we had, I think that was motion 2, where we were gonna buy the truck. We're gonna retain ownership of the truck. We're gonna house the truck with the city of Canton. And we're going to work with the city of Canton and contract with them for fire protection in a district that they already, as the Rating Bureau man said, they're already doing. Now they get an opportunity to get additional manpower, which I think is going to help them as opposed to her.
With 8 meals.
With the 8 meals. So would like the 8 meals attached to this new district. Can I get a second?
Second with Ronnie reading that.
Yeah, read my motion.
I can't, sir. I
That's
really
good.
don't know what the motion was, to be honest with you.
You didn't know what the motion.
I got create the fire district and contract with the city of Canton for support. That's all I got so far.
Okay.
Out of that.
You didn't get the purchasing the ladder truck and housing it at the I think that's fire station number 4.
And adding on the 8 meals.
And adding on the 8 meals
District.
for the district. Okay,
That's the motion I got.
that's the motion you got. Okay, and it was second.
And the district would be this yellow.
Yeah.
Ronnie.
Sorry, not the yellow, but the dark red border.
The dark red border,
Red
yeah,
border.
yeah, dark red border, and exclude and make sure we don't have any overlapping. Okay,
And in addition, sir, we have signatures from some of the 160-acre landowners where they are agreeing to become a part of the
and they will
district.
be included.
So that they are in the description. I'm just telling you, we'll have that entered in to include those for taxation.
Good. Okay. All right. All in favor?
I would like to have discussion on that motion.
Well, have a discussion.
Discussion was, the motion was, Mr. Lott, I'm with you. I didn't quite understand the motion either. So I'm going to try to respond to a couple things. Appreciate Supervisor Griffin coming and looking at the district because it's well needed as far as making a district out in the areas that has been getting the benefit of the class insurance rating that they are currently receiving today. So as far as the new district, I think it's great. I'm definitely in support of that part of the district without the mega site. The county has invested millions of dollars in the mega site. There's 900 acres currently. Possibly it's going to go over 1,000, 1,050 acres. And it's our future for Madison County as far as bringing in businesses and making sure that we're doing what we can, whether it's fire protection, law enforcement, anything else dealing with that mega site. Because this board will continue to put in millions of dollars moving forward in that mega site. So the concern that I have is just only with that 900 to 1,000 acres at this point. I know I talked with our attorney and talked with Shelton about setting up a separate district for the mega site only instead of including in the district that we're currently talking about, which would be a new district as well. And so there is a mechanism that's already in place, and I will not explain that mechanism at this point, but I would ask this board to ask our attorney and our administrator to look into that mechanism, and it's called the RETA mechanism. I'm going to call it that is currently set up with the Board of Supervisors, which is Madison County, CMU, City of Canton, Makita, that we can actually
2 minutes.
And that we can actually move forward with. So at this point, my motion would be to create a new district with the exception of the 1,050 acres that we call the mega site, leaving that area out at this point until we can come back and get more information on the mega site only as far as making it a district of itself, and see how we can actually do the best we can do as far as fire protection for that district. So, Mr. President, my motion would be to go ahead with the motion to create a new fire district with the exception of the mega site property, with the exception of the 160 acres landowners that have said that they did not want to be included in this piece of property. And
Got that, Ronnie?
Working on it.
yeah, I'm trying to make it pretty simple here. The fire truck we already have ordered, and so it should not be in this motion at all at this point. So I want to leave the fire truck as is at this stage, but also to have the administrator and the attorney to come back within 2 weeks and give us an update on how the RETA option could come into play with setting up his own district. That's my motion.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor of
Wait,
the
I have some
substitute?
discussion. So you want them to bring us information, so we don't even have to vote on, you're not asking us to vote on a RETA or
That's
another
right.
proposal. You're just,
No, you just want to gut the fire district.
Here's what
He
my
wants
motion.
to say hell with the people
Yeah.
and go all with the business out there.
Yeah.
That's
No, I'm
what
not.
he's saying.
No,
well, then, let's just not, do you mind withdrawing your motion so we can get the information you want us to get and come back and make a decision then when we have all the information?
we could actually do that. I think we're under a timeline as far as the millage on the new district as far as the timeline. Is that correct, Shelton? Or can we do that?
Let me see if the tax assessor's office is represented here today. I think that, I believe that the fire district needs to be created before July 1 for it to go on the roll, for the roll to be collected in January 2022.
Okay, so we're actually under a timeline, and that's the reason I made, if we're gonna if we want to come back and put the mega site back into that district, we can actually do that if we think that's the best thing to do at that time. Because there's zero monies that's gonna come from that mega site this year.
2 years.
Will actually be in '23. So we can go ahead and create the district without the mega site today. Get information on the RETA information from the administrator and the attorney. And if we like that, we can make a separate district at that point. And if we do not agree with it, we can actually come back and include it in the district that we're currently making today.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is you're going to offer two options that we're going to consider in our next meeting, and then we'll make a decision.
No, we still need to make a decision today from what I'm hearing from administrator because of a timeline.
Well, I understand that point, but my point is, the decision is, we're going to come back and look at two things and then make a decision next time.
We come back and look at the RETA option. I'm not sure what other two things that you're referred to at this point.
Okay.
But the RETA option is the option for the mega site only.
Okay, so what you're saying is we're going to come back we're going to vote for this now because of a deadline, but we're going to come back in 2 weeks and talk about it.
Talk about the mega site only, because the other district will be created.
The RETA.
No, the RETA is the mega site.
Okay.
The district my motion is that we'll create a district that Paul indicated at the very beginning, 2, 3, 4 months ago, for the homes that are getting benefit from a fire rating class now, but not paying for them.
Okay.
But my motion leaves out the mega site only until we hear the Rita option.
Okay, I'll go along with that.
Once again, colleagues, this district, fire district, is being formed in Supervisor District 4 and Supervisor District 5. Traditionally, when district will form, fire district will form, the public hearing was held, and nobody came to them because the supervisors of the district had communicated with the people, and they were satisfied with the districts. I'm asking the question now, show of hands of the people in the audience, in outside, and supervisor, who lives in this proposed district. All right, got people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the people that finna make the decisions on it don't even live in the district. But I happen to represent part of it. Carl represent the other part of it. And we got a motion on the floor. And it gonna serve the mega site, all the people in the district, not a supervisor that represent the city of Ridgeland want to come up here and tell us and try to show us how to form our fire districts. The district that our tax gonna be paying for, not his taxes, not his constituent taxes. Our constituent gonna be paying that 8 mills. And he gonna come up with a remedy to try to cut it where the people's out there. Yeah. I'm not gonna try to tell you how to run things in Madison, Sheila. I'm not gonna try to tell you, Gerald, how to run things in Ridgeland. You either, Trey. Don't come up here and try to tell us how to form our district when we be forming districts for years and they've been working. We've been working. This is not just a opportunity that you came in 8 years ago, and we've been working on this stuff 20 years to get fire protection all over the county. And just because the mega site coming in here gonna produce a lot of dollars, now you want to gut it out and send it somewhere else. It ain't fair.
No.
It's bull crap.
No, the mega site dollars that possibly coming in from Amazon, we can see it. That is going to help us continue to give first-class fire protection to the rest of the county. When we developed the South Madison County District in Gloucester, we didn't try to take away anything like Fastenal when they came in or any other tax-paying entity that was going to be large for them. It helps them to pay for trucks, manpower, and things, the supplies and things they need to keep people safe. Now, for some reason, this is the first time I've ever seen us deal with a fire district where we want to put a circle around certain tax-paying entities that might pay a lot of taxes. That's ridiculous. That is totally ridiculous. We're going to put the burden back on the people least able to pay and tell them that if you want to have good fire protection, you just got to pay more. Because every time, if something else decides that they're going to land close to your district, we're going to keep them out. We're going to keep that tax dollar away from them. That is ridiculous. And like I say, and like Paul said, fire districts have traditionally and always been that of the district supervisor that is in. Not somebody in Ridgeland telling these people up here that, yeah, you can have a fire district, but you're not going to have the avails of the taxation from any other industry. It's ridiculous. And I agree with Paul.
Mr. President, I'm not gonna get personal.
That's not personal.
Yeah,
Get personal.
I'm not gonna get personal with it.
What you're
Hold
doing.
on one second. Let me talk. I'll let you talk without interrupting.
Y'all want to vote on it?
Yes.
I don't want to talk. The mega site, the entire county has contributed to the mega site.
Small amounts of money.
Listen.
It hadn't been.
The entire county has contributed to the mega site as far as purchasing of the land, and any benefit or anything that is given out there is the entire county.
That's right.
So it's not anything personally.
When we
It's just
created
that that's
Highland
what I
Colony
believe.
Parkway, the entire county created Highland Colony Parkway.
That's right.
We built it, and
Everybody's getting
So
benefit
the
from it.
taxation and the whole idea of taxation is wherever you can create
Everybody's
an
benefit.
an increase in taxation, an increase in assessed value, you do it because all ships float
I
with
did
high
not
tide. Now you're doing something totally different now than
I did
ever
not.
been done in the history of Madison County. In the last 40 years that I've been dealing with Madison County. You're doing something entirely different.
Y'all did some crazy stuff.
First of all, I didn't come up with 8
I've done some
meals.
Crazy stuff.
Been given
Yeah,
to Emmett.
everything right, yeah.
All right, I
Anyway,
question for the
go
vote.
ahead.
Amazon plant.
I question for the vote, guys.
You ain't got nothing to do with that.
But getting the Amazon plant.
You know,
Carl.
I'm the one that
We
created
got-
the mega site.
Oh.
Y'all were just.
You were here when we bought the 750 acres and revamped Makita.
The whole thing was
You
set
had
up
nothing to do
long
with
before
it.
you
You
even
had
thought
nothing
about
to
being
do
a
with it.
supervisor.
How many businesses y'all have out there? How many?
How many?
How many
y'all have out there?
businesses? We
No,
got an Amazon plant when you
Amazon-
weren't here.
Amazon
You weren't here.
Amazon just called last year.
I
was
know,
here.
you weren't
I
here.
was here when Amazon called.
You had nothing to do with it.
You had
Nothing to do with it.
None of this board.
How many
had anything to
businesses
do with
y'all have at the
Amazon.
Makita plant, at the Makita area, mega site? How many businesses?
We brought in Nissan.
You didn't have nothing to do with that. Trent Lott brought in Nissan. Nothing
brought
to do
in
with it.
Nissan.
Nothing to do with it.
Because we prepared the site. We had the site. We made the investment to have a site. The same thing with the mega site. We started on that in 2010, long before you showed up. But anyway, that has nothing to do with it. You got a motion on the board.
I want this still comment. On this mega site, if we had done, Makita had done what the majority of them wanted to do, it was to buy the whole 2,000 acres out there for a cheap price before any of Amazon or any of them wanted to come out there. We had the opportunity to buy it for a cheap price. But a certain supervisor, like I always, want to kick the can down the road, want to buy a little part of it, and that's what we end up doing, buying a little part of it, made somebody else's property 5 times valuable. Now we got to pay a more price, a big, huge price for it. That's what you get when you kick the can down the road. You end up paying more taxpayer money. And that's what we're going to end up doing here with kicking the can down the road, is paying more taxpayer money, when we should go ahead, bite the bullet, and form the fire district with the mega site in it.
Just like it is. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's been a motion and a second for a substitute motion. Can we get a vote?
Can I hear the motion again?
Correct me on this motion, Mr. Steen.
I will, Mr. Lott.
Substitute motion made by Mr. Steen, seconded by Mr. Baxter. Create a new fire district with the exception of the Madison County mega site area, excluding the 150 private ownership acres not included in this area. Task the county administrator, the board attorney, and I added the fire coordinator to return with information on recommendations on the RETA option at the July 5th board meeting. Does that sound right? You need to change that.
Yes, as long as you included the 900 acres mega site plus
I
the
just
100.
used mega site area, but I can use the 900 acres.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that is correct. That is correct. Yes.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All opposed? No. Okay.
Mr. President, I would ask for the attorney to bring that back in 2 weeks. As far as the option.
Mr. Steen, Mr. President, it's my understanding that Mr. Espy will not be able to attend the next meeting, and we'll have someone standing in his place, so may we make that.
So change the date to what?
Well, you change it to the following meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the record, the fire truck
It should be the 19th.
that's being purchased with state money, the county's gonna have possession of that fire truck.
As far as I know.
And then within the bill, the municipality could not control the fire truck or possess the fire truck, correct? The state bill. I'm pretty sure it was in the bill from the legislature that the municipality could not possess the fire truck. The county had to possess the fire truck.
It said the truck was Madison County's truck.
And we will deal with that as well at the appropriate time, within 30 days, 45 days.
So I just, that's all I need to know.
Okay, we got other business items. The attorney, Mike Espy.
All right. Mr. President, I'm having vocal troubles today, so that's why I won't be here next week. Very quickly, tomorrow, a new law is enacted where the legislature gives the county the authority to allow their certified law enforcement officers to use their uniforms, their service revolvers, and their cars when they go for off-duty law enforcement security jobs. County has to allow them to do that. So I have a resolution prepared for you with all the bells and whistles and exact language where the county allows Sheriff Tucker and the Sheriff's Office to regulate the deputy sheriffs and the law enforcement officers that can use their equipment, vehicles, uniform, everything when they go for off-duty events. Now, the resolution says that county is held harmless. There's no liability at all whatsoever to the county. If the uniform is damaged, if the car is wrecked, whatever, there's no liability to the county. And Sheriff Tucker and Jeremy, they've already begun to draft the policy. Well, whoever's hiring the law enforcement officer understands that they have to put the county on their insurance policy to cover the liability. So I'm confident that they're doing what they have to do, and the legislature allowed you to approve this, and I recommend that you approve it to begin tomorrow.
Can we get a motion? Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, and I work with Jeremy. The other matter, quite simply, is on the raise grant. The county is applying for a raise grant. The deadline is July 12th. There's a very innovative feature in the county's application to build a park and ride hub to allow the Madison County Citizen Service Agency to park vans at the new hub, and then let Amazon, Nissan have their own vans to take people to work. So we want to put that feature in the application to tell Mr. Buttigieg we're doing something that no one has ever done in Mississippi before. So a park and ride hub with electric plug-in stations, and all of that. It would be great if the board could approve the concept, which might include subsidizing the rides. So it may very well be that we can get Amazon to pick up the cost, but if they don't, I like for you to be able to tell the Department of Transportation that you're gonna subsidize these rides to allow low-income workers of Northeast Madison, Kenton, even Jackson, if they can get up to the park and ride to get a ride to work and back. So there's a motion that I prepared for this, Mr. President, and the motion could be entered at this time.
Yeah, I saw a motion.
This is approving the concept of park and ride,
Yeah, that.
including the raise application, which might necessitate a subsidy in the future.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it, very much so, and as far as with our raise grant, as far as implementing, because it's with the new administration, it's totally different, and we have to change our way of thinking, and this is one of the ways that y'all have come up with as far as trying to get our raise grant approved this time. So, Mr. President?
Okay.
Did you make the motion?
I passed that motion on over there.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Let me make the
All in
motion.
favor?
Okay,
all opposed. Got it.
Y'all want me to make the motion? Mr. Lott, you get the motion?
Yes, sir. I believe Ms. Espy's going to provide me with the exact motion.
It's there.
Let's put that one in the minutes, and that's the motion that we actually
Back to
need
park and
there.
ride subsidization. Yes.
That is the motion that we need.
Two quick items, Mr. President. I would ask that you approve travel for Minor Norman and McPhee to travel for inspection of the newly ordered fire truck at the Rosenbauer plant.
Make a motion?
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Next item is a request from County Court Judge Stacy O'Neill. She has a new grant that she needs approval to.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The comptroller, she has nothing. The chancellor clerk has nothing.
Nothing, sir.
Randy Tucker has nothing. Okay, we can adjourn until, when, are we coming back on the 6th or the 5th?
July 6th. The 5th is a declared state holiday, so we'll be closed that day.
Motion to adjourn until the 6th at 9 a.m. Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
Every year. Every year. Yeah. I know. It goes
Yes,
all
sir.
the
Be
way back
good.
to, my 25% comes out of where I retired. It can't,
Football and baseball. I wasn't no good at baseball, but I liked it. Football, you just play because you're big.